Terra Renae. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. So you're actually in Switzerland in the moment, and you're on
I
tour, I believe. Are you
yeah.
guys? Do you guys start tomorrow with Macy Gray?
We start Wednesday in Paris.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so excited.
yeah. So you have a lot going on. You have a new single, "Ignite Me," which just came out on May 16th, off the heels of your other hit single, "Manifest It." Manifest It. I don't know how to say that exactly. um, Okay, there you go. An album from the album called "All I Have," which has done very well, came out in March. So
Thank you.
tell me, you're at a bit of a whirlwind these days.
Yes, I know we're keeping it busy, we've been working on album 1 with Macy. Gosh, we worked on that one for about a year and a half and we had so much fun that we just kept on going. So we're just boom 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 and
Yeah, and
really
I love your style. It's sort of I would say soul pop infused jams and really fun music and different little bit different styles in there. How did you get connected with Macy Gray? Tell me that story.
Oh my goodness. So this is a wild, unbelievably just organic story. So Macy and I met circa day August 2022, and it was actually right after my wedding. And we told our all of our friends and our family, we don't want any guests. We live in a tiny condo. I don't have room for a lot of gifts, but what we do have room for is memories. And if you all could just create memories with us as our gifts, let's go out to the movies, let's go to dinner. And one of our friends just so happened to be very good friends with Macy Gray. And he said, "Well, you know what? For my wedding gift, I would really love to take you to a professional studio and for you to see what that looks like. In addition to that, to see Macy Gray." And who's going to say no,
Awesome.
right?
Exactly.
Minor caveat, it did happen to occur immediately after my 7-day Indian wedding. My voice was completely shot after that wedding, but I said, you know what's a once in a lifetime opportunity to meet Macy Gray? Who's going to say no to that? So I was like, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And so immediately after our wedding in San Diego, we took an Uber all the way up to LA just to meet her. And oh my goodness, she was so gracious and so friendly from the moment she opened the studio door and just gave us a big hug the moment we walked in. I was like, okay, it's my kind of people. We're gonna hit it off, huh? And it just so happened to be my birthday in addition to that. And so after we met at the studio, we told everyone, well, we're gonna go to the bar afterwards. It's my birthday and just celebrate a little bit. And Macy said, I haven't been to a bar in a while. I think I'd like to come with y'all. And we said, well, why not? Yes, please, please do. It would be an honor. And she ended up singing happy birthday to me. And it all kind of fell into place after that. I mean, I just love her. She's really taken on not only a mentorship role, but really a motherly role as well. So I feel
Mm.
so blessed to have met her. It's just so random.
Yeah, and she just seems like a great spirit. I love her. Her music back in the day was hitting so hard, and I know she's doing. You guys, so actually, I think you're going to start your tour in Paris. You just mentioned to me,
Yes.
and that's actually her anniversary tour. Is it the 25th
Right.
anniversary?
It's her 25th anniversary tour. You got it.
Yeah, how exciting for you! And it's also too. I think your music jives with hers really well. Like
Thank
that,
you.
like I said, I love the sort of soul inspired pop R&B vibe that you have going on.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you listen closely enough, Macy does do some backup vocals on a lot of my tracks, which is kind of fun. We kind of play like Find the Macy with my friend. I'm like, can you find her
Find
in
the
there?
Macy. That's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Tell me about you growing up. Like, who were some of your musical influences and people that really inspired you?
Sure. So I am definitely a 90s baby at heart. I love the Cranberries. I love Alanis Morissette, Jewel. And as my music tastes progressed and as I got older, Pink was a huge influence for me. Of course, Britney Spears, Lady Gaga, Adele, Halsey as I got older. But 90s is definitely where it started. R&B, I loved Aaliyah. Oh, rest in peace. I loved Aaliyah. Loved Ashanti. So yeah, I had a little bit of R&B, a little bit of pop. I had a little bit of everything, but 90s baby at heart for sure.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Pink because I heard that in your voice.
Oh, what's that? Oh, yeah, I get that a lot. I'm like,
Yeah, I definitely heard
what an
that.
honor, thank you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good place to be, right? That's an awesome place to be. So
Yeah.
when you're so you're writing and doing that kind of thing and a lot of production lately, is it a lot of it seems like there's a lot of collaboration. That's kind of what I was reading on your project.
Yeah, I love working with other people. I've always been an advocate of you're never going to know everything the best. And I think the best product really comes from other input. And although everything is, yeah, it's based on my story, but I love getting critique and to get the best product out of that to meet my goals. And I love collaborating.
Awesome. And I read that you had some challenging times growing up as I did myself too. I can relate to that. Do you feel like that somehow kind of motivated you to do what you do? Because you're actually beyond just being a musician and an artist, you're also a doctor, which is
Yes,
which is
yeah.
awesome. I think that's awesome. But
I know, I know. Everybody's like, "Wait, what? You just like you went doctorate and now you're gonna go full blown music?" And I'm like, everybody has a different journey, and I think for me, there were more than a few challenges, but with music in particular, I sang and I did choir all my life, and I think one of my biggest regrets was when I was 13 or yeah, it was about 13 or 14 years old. There was a local competition in Louisville, Kentucky, a singing competition that is, and I made it to the finals, and the finals were held in LA. Now, at that point in time, I didn't really have any formal one-on-one training. I always had choir training or a church training, but never one-on-one. And what I did do, which was the worst thing to do if you're a singer out there, was oversing my song. And I have a big,
mm,
belty, chesty voice, and I sang that big, belty, chesty song over and over and over again. I ended up straining my vocal cords. And so at that audition, for the longest time, all I recall in my 13-year-old mind was nothing would come out. Like it was just so hard to sing. And I just really couldn't understand why. But unfortunately, after that one-off audition, I took it as, oh, I don't want to audition anymore. I don't want to sing in front of anybody anymore.
yeah, because that's traumatic, right?
It's very traumatic. And I think that's one of the biggest things I always regretted because then it turned into, oh, this is something I hold private. I write in private, I sing in private, and my really, really close friends know that I do, but no one else really does. And it feels very inauthentic to be living a life where it's like, man, I just wish people knew who I really was or what I really loved to do, but I was so afraid to share that. And I feel the third decade of life, you really start giving less of a, you know, and you just go for it.
Yeah,
And
that's something I always say. It's none of your business what other people think about you.
yeah, and I'm like, I was like, I've lived with regret for a long time now, almost 2 decades, and now it's my time. And the good news is, if all else fails, well, my medical license is alive and active.
As an artist, as we both know, I'm a musician as well, but
Yeah,
as we both know, it's nice to have that.
yeah, it's nice to have that little bit of a safety net. Now, truth be told, I am not planning on going backwards by any means, but it is a nice safety net. And I think that also it gives me a little more of that courage to, you know what, we're good. Let's just go for it. Let's sit on this for a little bit. I've been in school for a very, very long time and let's live for me and let's give 13-year-old Tara that lost her confidence a chance.
Yeah, and it says a lot about your character. That's the thing. Being able to finish and get through something like that which is not an easy thing. It sets you up very well for being an artist because the determination factor is carries through life, no matter what you do. If it's music, if it's career, whatever it is. And I noticed too on your in your Instagram, you talk a lot about vocal warm ups because that is important. And like you said, a lot of kids maybe they're self taught and they get on TikTok and they get popular, but then they go on the road and lose their voice, and they don't because they don't know how to do that.
You got it. It's so true. And my husband and I joke all the time because I actually used to lose my voice all the time. It was at minimum once a month. This was about like 8 years ago when he first met me. And of course, I was singing in private still at that time. And I just couldn't figure it out. And then I started working with a vocal coach about 8 years ago, learning proper technique with my warm-ups and how to prevent injury. And guess what? I haven't lost my voice in about 7 years.
That's
So
awesome. Yeah. And also
it's
too using maybe I don't know if you use in-ear monitors, that kind of helps. Just that whole and it's also like on the road, it's survival. because
Yes.
oftentimes you're not sleeping the way you do. Like you mentioned, you have jet lag, dealing with all that, right?
Yes. So like my main priority right now is hydrate, hydrate. It's self-care, but also, keeping this intact and just remembering just stay calm.
Yeah, calm, hydrated, and get your sleep.
Yes.
It's super
Yes.
important. You mentioned your husband was Indian. Have you been to India? Have you done that?
Oh, I have not. It is like first on my bucket list. He has been back several times, but oh, I can't wait to go. I love everything about the Indian culture.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I did a music festival there last year in Chennai, which is kind of
Oh
by
my
the
God.
beach. Yeah, that was really fun. That is one long flight.
I bet that was beautiful. And yes, that is a very long flight, I've heard. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
hours, right?
Yeah, you get to Germany, which is
Yeah.
like the 9 or 10 hours. I'm in Vegas, and then you have another 10 hours.
Oh my
It's crazy.
God.
So tell me, so the tour with Macy, are you doing the full tour? Because that's actually quite long. There's a lot of dates.
It is very long. Now, we are doing 3 weeks, so we will be here until about, let's see, Warsaw is our last stop. So that is June 9th. Yeah.
Awesome. And you're doing how long is so you're doing the opening set? Are you singing with Macy at all in the show or?
I'm doing the opening set. However, with Macy, you never know. You never know. She might just say, Terra Renae, come up here and let's do Winter Wonderland, which has happened before.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fun.
And I said, well, now, Macy, I don't know Winter Wonderland, but I'm going to give it my best shot now. I know the melody.
That's awesome. When you went back in the 90s, because she was hitting really hard. Remind me some of her songs because she has quite a few hits.
I think I Try is the biggest
Right.
one.
Yeah.
And then Sweet Baby.
Oh, okay.
And
Awesome.
I think those are the two biggest ones. And I don't know if you all or if anybody recalls, but one of my favorite shows on Nickelodeon was As Told by Ginger, and she actually sang the theme song for that
Oh,
one. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, because
Yeah.
she has such a unique voice. It's really and it's really like I always say it's sort of the Dolly Parton Willie Nelson thing where you hear a couple of notes and you know exactly who it
No,
is.
instantly.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's such a rare gift, really.
Yeah.
Tell me, there's a lot of young artists that watch or check out my podcast and that kind of thing, and I always ask the people that I interview to give advice. And what are some of the things that you've learned, not only as a music artist but just in life? What are some really important things that you can tell our audience?
Sure. Um, I think definitely, even from my personal story, is don't let fear hold you back. I think everybody has a chapter one, and it is such a huge mistake to compare your chapter one to someone else's chapter 51. Because everybody at chapter 51, even Beyonce, had to start somewhere. And I think you just have to forgive yourself. And it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to have doubt. And it's okay to feel like you don't know what you're doing. But with constant practice and constant trying, eventually you'll know what you're doing. But it all starts with just trying on that chapter one. So don't give up and just try. Don't let fear steer the ship.
Yeah, and that's great advice. And that's something that I've learned too. Like, you have to lose your fear of sucking and allow
Yes,
yourself you have to
100%.
allow yourself to be able to do that to get to the other side, right?
Because how are you supposed to learn? One of the biggest things, one of the best, actually, I'm going to add on to that. I think one of the best things I've ever done is, and it's very scary to do, but every time you perform, film it, watch it, critique yourself and things that you can do better. And don't take that as an opportunity to, tear yourself down. Take that as an opportunity to learn. And I always look at it as a challenge, like, oh, I can't wait to go back up there because now I'm not going to do this crazy thing with my shoulders or my hands. And it
Right.
just gets better every time. So just take it as an opportunity to learn and not to beat yourself up about it.
Yeah, and I think that's really, really great advice, especially for young performers, because you just have to learn. You just have to be able to do it and
Yeah,
get
you got to.
through it. Yeah,
Not gonna be perfect the first time. You don't know that.
exactly. Exactly.
Much were.
Yeah. Well, we're here to learn. That's my
Yeah.
philosophy. This is school for
Oh,
us, so we're allowed to make our mistakes and learn from it.
yes.
Um, Tell people how they can find you online and tour schedule and all that stuff.
Sure. So there are a few different avenues. Spotify is a really easy one as far as schedules go. Bands in town will always have an updated schedule. And our website, so terrarenee.com, will always have an updated schedule. If you want to find me on social media, I'm very active on all platforms. Facebook, Terra Renee. Instagram is Terra.Renee. TikTok. YouTube as well. So I try to stay active everywhere to meet everyone's preferences.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and your Instagram is great, and I love the fact that you try to help people. Your information that you're sharing is great. Like I said, the vocal warm up stuff is really great on your site, so that's important.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining me. I know you
Thank you for
probably have
having
a
me.
yeah, you probably have a very busy day, and I know you gotta get yourself sorted with the jet lag for a couple of days before you guys do your first show.
Yes, we're adjusting. Luckily enough, we got very lucky in that at least we have tonight to adjust and kind of acclimate to the new time schedule. So
Yeah, it's always a challenge to stay up on the first day.
yes, yes. Well, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Oh yeah, well you're welcome. So everybody, please check out Terra Renae on tour currently with Macy Gray. You're going to be in Europe for next 3 weeks doing some amazing shows, killer schedule, and also they have the full tour schedule for Macy on her Instagram. There's a link that you guys can find, and yeah, good luck with that. It's so exciting. The new single sounds great. Everybody, also please check out Ignite Me, which is as you mentioned on Spotify and all the usual streaming outlets.
Got it. Yes,
Awesome. Well, have a great day, and tell your husband I said hey.
I sure will. Thank you all so much for having me. You all have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.